where comprehensive amendments were made in the year 1984. My sincere question to the Treasury benches and the Honorable Minister. Right from the 1984, whenever amendments were brought in this House, there was a basis. There were deliberations. There were consultations with stakeholders, which was appointed by either by the Parliament or by the President of India or the Prime Minister of India. 1984 amendment came into existence on the basis of the report submitted by the Waqf Inquiry Committee appointed by the Government of India in the 1970 by the Parliament. So a committee was formed in the year 1970. The report was placed. After 14 years, the amendments were made. I surprised when I went through the document in 1970. What a beautiful and sensible deliberation took place in 1970. In spite of that, the protests were made against 1970. Late, it came in 1984. Madam, if at all so many recommendations were made in 1970, in 1984, the Parliament was enabled to take two amendments. One is for limitation, which was extended to 30 years for the properties. The second one is the act applicable to the Waqf properties. No other provisions were implemented. Not because of the protests of the Hindus, the protests by the Muslims themselves. It was fairly accepted by the Nehru and government. After that, 1995 Act came into existence. I am an antibiotic, so that I have to take. See, what I wanted to impress upon the minister and the House, whenever the amendment came into existence, on the reasonable basis, on the institutional outcome, the amendments were done. Take 1995. 1995, how the Act came into existence? Sorry. In 1985, the reason, statement objection reason, para 2, I quote, comprehensive amendments of the Waqf Act were made in the year 1984, which were based largely on the recommendation of the Waqf Inquiry Committee set up in December 70 to inquire the administration of Waqf all levels and response to a demand made by the Parliament members during the discussion of Waqf bill. Only two amendments. Thereafter, the demand was made by the Muslim community to have a relook, and accordingly, it was placed in the Parliament, and 1995 Act came into existence. Now again I come to 2013. 2013, on what basis? Para 2 of the reasons and objectives. The Prime Minister's High-Level Committee for Preparation of Report on Social, Economic and Educational Status of Muslim Community, in its report submitted to the Prime Minister on 17 November 2006, which is known as Sachar Committee Report. So what I wanted to say, whether it is 84, whether it is 95, whether it is 2013, there were bases, there were consultations, there were consensus arrived. Then the white paper was filed to the Parliament. Then they brought the amendments. Now tell me, please tell me, on what basis this bill is being brought in the House? On what basis? You can say so many stakeholders. How many stakeholders came to the JPC and substantiated our claim? Nothing. Sir, madam, all right. The way in which the bill is brought and piloted is still itself is something surreptitious measure. Surreptitious. Now, I am coming to the objects and reasons of the present bill. The present bill says they are admitting, para 2, based on the recommendations of the High-Level Committee, under the chairmanship of Justice Sachar, and the report of the Joint Parliamentary Committee on Waqf, the Central Waqf Council, and after having detailed consultation and other stakeholders, comprehensive amendments were made in the year 2013. Your admission, unquote. Then you start in the same paragraph, I quote, despite the amendments, please hear, despite the amendments, it has been observed that the Act still requires further improvement to effectively address issues related to the powers of the Waqf Board, registration and survey of the properties, removal of encroachment, including the definition of the Waqf. 5 components. You said, in addition to the 2013, even on the basis of the Sachar Committee report, you wanted to address 5 more components according to you, which are missing in the S12 bill, the S12 Act. Let us pursue. Now I come to your 5 pillars. I can easily demonstrate that the definition of the Waqf, it is nothing but artfully confused for the non-existence of Waqf. Removal of the encroachment, it is nothing but empowering the government to grab the Waqf property. Survey of the property, it is nothing but a mockery because Government of India already filed an application, filed an affidavit before the Supreme Court. More than 90% survey is already over. Now you are coming for survey. Registration of Waqf, it is not at all humanly possible according to your text. I will come to that. Powers of the state boards, it becomes recreation club. I will demonstrate. Sir, as a student of law, I got anguish when see the amendments. And I challenge the minister with the due humility. Please show one improvement on these 5 heads beyond the 2013 Act. Then I will ready to salute you. You can't. You can't. On the contrary, Madam Chairperson, I have been in the Parliament more than 22 years. I know the legislative business. Being a lawyer, I am well versed. But have you come across a bill is being brought to the Parliament cunningly and cleverly to remove the amendments which were brought in the 1995 and 2013 after due deliberation and approved by the same Parliament? If you really honest, you must repeal the 2013. You must repeal the 1995 because most of the amendments brought in 1995 in 2013 were completely removed by way of this amendment. What does it mean? What does it mean? I want to quote the quote of V.R. Krishna, a known jurist. I quote, Parliament is a great inquest of the nation, the great auditor and ombudsman of the executive, the final arbiter, policy monitor, and destiny designer of the people, unquote. I dare to charge the government that this Parliament is being used as a mere ventilating chamber and it has been undermined. It is nothing but an unpardonable onslaught on the constitution religion. One day you will be repent. Now, I will turn to the provisions of the bill. 5 components, definition of the Waqf. My learned friend, including Kalyan Banerjee, everybody, even Akhilesh, my brother Akhilesh, said about the practicing Islam. Then nobody should be indulged in contrivance. Where you got all this language? I am a Hindu. I may be a believer. I may not be a believer. But when you are entrusting a property, you must measure my honesty. Whether I am honest or not. If I am a fraud,